All right, yes, we're recording. Make sure that the angle is correct. Yeah, that looks about right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the comments, and thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. Um, and please remember to subscribe. I've gotten a few subscribers. Thank you guys, and like the video. Uh, this is a part four. This is 4 parts series. This is part 3. Make sure you check out the first and the second. Um, that way you'll know what's going on. So I'm just going to jump right in. Uh, please subscribe. I really need the the help. So right now I'm leaving Brooklyn. Just got into a big old fight. I was beat up by 4 guys with locks in their hands, and in the hole for quite a while for that until I started to heal. I had a broken eye bone and a bunch of little nicks and knacks, cuts in my head because the guys kept punching me in my head, trying to knock me down. But I got lucky. I'm not Superman. I got lucky. So I'm in the hole in Brooklyn, and then out of nowhere they call me, Gomez, pack it up. And I'm like, okay, well, thank God I'm leaving. Brooklyn is another small Atlanta, to say the least. It shouldn't be in operation, to be honest with you. Um, Everything is dirty. Everything is outdated. I don't know how old Brooklyn is. I imagine it's not that old, but it sure is run like an old institution. So there's really not much to pack. I got a few letters that I'm going to take with me, and I still haven't really talked to my family on the phone, and that's because going to the hole so much. And you can make phone calls from the hole. Don't don't get me wrong. They allow you to have phone. Not in Atlanta. They didn't even bring the phone. I remember using the phone in MDC Miami when I was in Florida in Miami. They did let me use the phone once or twice. I think it was like once a week, something like that. Um, so some holes you're allowed to use. You do have phone calls. It's just not going to be like population. Population. If you got money, you could be on there. I think you got a limit. I don't remember what the limit was because I didn't get to use the phones like that. So if you ask me how many minutes was the limit, I wouldn't know that because I I think I used the phone my whole total time in there. I might have used the phone 3 times. So I just don't know that information. But I'm going to. I get on the bus. They put me on a big old Greyhound bus, and we start driving. And now the fear of where am I going, because the feds, they make it to where you might think you're going to a place, and you're actually going across the country again. So I was hoping that I was like, you know what, this is enough. I'm almost 2 years in this chain. Um, and thank God I know I know where they're driving. I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx. I know what Brooklyn, Manhattan. I know how to. I've been all over the East Coast loyally, so I know exactly when he starts going this direction. I already know. Okay, I'm going to New Jersey. So sure enough, we cross into New Jersey, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I don't know what institutions are in New Jersey at this point. I'm completely in the dark as far as where we're going, but I know New Jersey very well. I used to go fishing there all the time, and things of that nature. Um, so finally make it to what looks like to be a military base. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, I didn't, I don't know where I'm at. So We go through checkpoint after checkpoint after checkpoint, and everybody's in military uniforms. So finally we make it to it seemed to me like the very back of the of the institution, and then I was able to read FCI Fort Dix. So I'm thinking I know where Fort Dix was at because of me fishing in New Jersey before. So I'm like, oh man, I'm like literally like 35, 40 minutes away from Philadelphia. So maybe now my family could visit me. I haven't seen them in 2 years. So yeah, we pull in and they put us in. They take us down from the bus, and it's a low security institution, which I learned later. It's a low, but it's run like a medium. It should be a medium security because there's a lot of things that you can't do from a medium to a low. There's a lot of, you got the fucking 10-minute move. I'll go into that later on. You got to write down everywhere you go. It's not that much. It's way better than everything that I had just experienced, for sure. But it's run like a medium security. You still got the guard towers. You have the trucks going 24/7 around the whole thing. Now Fort Dix is humongous, huge. They got their own chapel in there, their own school. They call it the school district, but there's a school in there. You can take, your GED classes and all that. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. And then, so we get off the bus, and I go into what's called A&O. So A&O is administration and orientation. But, you got to get processed again. Doctors, and you want to kill yourself. How much do you weigh? When I got to Fort Dix, I weighed 160 pounds. I remember that clearly. So and I'm there for about 4 hours before I get released to the actual compound. That's what they call them, compound. And I'm like, okay, so lunchtime comes around. By the time we get there, it's very early in the morning. Lunchtime comes around. We're still being processed. So lunchtime comes around, and they put in front of me a cheeseburger and fries. That blew me away. I'm like, I like this already. I haven't had any kind of decent food in I don't know how long. And I remember just killing it. We all did. It wasn't very many of us. It was like, I want to say like 18, 19 people, maybe 20 people. And we had fucking a Coke, soda. I hadn't had a soda in 2 years. So that was definitely a positive. So all the feelings inside you are going crazy because you're scared. I don't care who. Listen, I don't care how big you are, how tough you are. You're scared. You don't know where you're going. You don't have no choice. That's like being released somewhere, and you have no choice whether it's good, bad, great, whatever. So the you're very on edge, so to speak, and you're like, what's it going to be like? How are the rules here? Stuff like that. But I eat my cheeseburger and my fries, and then later on, I learned that the feds at that time were actually using McDonald's fries because I worked in the kitchen and I could the bags used to say McDonald's. Anyway, so they give me you get a sack, and in the sack you get 3 khaki pants. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. I'm trying to remember. So in the sack you get your bedroll. You get, yeah, that's what it was. You get your bedroll, but you get a sack. You get like, I think it's 2 towels or 3 towels, and these were clean. Like these were nice looking towels. You could tell they were clean. You could smell them; they were fresh, and I was like, wow, you know. So you don't get a pillow. I don't. I've never in the whole time I was in the feds got a pillow. You got to make your own pillow eventually. But I got a few things that I didn't never have before. So I'm like, okay, this is looking really good. So then it's my turn to get out of that administration room, and I remember when they opened the door. Okay, go ahead. A&O is that big giant building over there. See that big building? It's like a mile away. I'm like, you want me to walk? Just walk to the building? Yeah, yeah, go. And he closes the door behind me. Now I'm alone. I'm completely alone. The door closes behind me, and I'm like freaking out. And I remember the sun hitting me. Now, when you're almost 2 years inside of a building, you turn like a ghost white. Like you turn so white. I've seen people start to turn kind of like a grayish color from being in the building fighting their cases for so long. I didn't have no sun through the whole time I was in the holes in the fucking chain trying to get to Fort Dix. And so I remember the sun hitting me, and I just opened my arms and I just sat there for a minute, and then I panicked. I'm like, this guard just set me up. I'm freaking out. I'm free. I don't have no chains, no shackles on me, no ankle shackles. And he told me to walk all the way down there. What's going on? So I turn around and I start hitting on the door. Doom, 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 doom. The same CO comes down. He goes, "What the hell's your problem?" I said, "Sir, I need to get you didn't. I'm not going out there." He goes, "Look, if you don't go out there to that building right now, I'm going to put you in the hole." And obviously that got my attention. I'm like, okay. So he closes the door again, and I start walking. And as I start walking, I'm the only person on the compound because they got 10-minute moves. So a 10-minute move is every hour, obviously, has 60 minutes. So, for example, at 10 o'clock in the morning, you got 5 minutes negative and 5 minutes positive. So 9:55, you have to put in every unit. There's a board, and you're gonna put Alexis Gomez, your inmate number, and where you're going. So if I was going from A&O, which is Administration Orientation Building, and I want to go to the library, I'm gonna put library at 9:55. You got 10 minutes to get there. So at 9:55, you hear the 10-minute move, and everybody, and you got 10 minutes to sign in and 10 minutes to get to whatever building you're going to. So at 10:05, shut down again. The whole compound shuts down. You better not be outside. And if you're outside, you better have a pass because you're going to get you're going to be impeding on security. They don't know why you're out there. You shouldn't be out there. You got 10 minutes to make it to where you're going. Now, if you're going, like, Fort Dix was so huge. I remember if you're going from the administration building, A&O, and you're going to go to, let's say, the books, the library was far, but not too far. But there was times where I had a 2-hour wait to make it to what do you call the education building. So if in 10 minutes you can't make it from where you're at to where you're going to be, where you're trying to make it, you're going to have to wait 2 hours. So if that makes sense, the walk it's gonna take longer than 10 minutes, then you can't be on the compound. So you got to make a stop along the way and wait a whole hour until the next 10-minute move, and then continue to where you're gonna go. If that makes sense. Sorry if I confuse you, but uh, so I get into A&O. I make it there, and I got my bunk number, and I remember like right now it was A40D or B, something like that. I'm on the top bunk, and I make it there. Now, everybody has a locker. My locker was all tore up. It didn't have no shelves in it because you're supposed to get all that fixed when you're in there. You find somebody will give you a shelf and you can put it in there and blah blah blah. So I put my things basically on the floor of the locker. The locker's right next to your bunk. They got now. What I loved about Fort Dix was the fucking bunks were actual cushions, this thick, and the bunks were spring loaded. No bullshit. This is how it was. And I remember laying there for the first time and just feeling like I was on a Posturepedic. That was heaven. Um, and you got sores, from sleeping on such hard surfaces and stuff like that. It takes a toll on your body for sure. Um, so anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm my bunkie wasn't there. I don't know where he was at. So my bunkie ended up being this Dominican guy, and he was very cool. He was when he made it back, he was like, "Hey man, oh you're Puerto Rican and stuff like that," and we get to talking a little bit, and he's telling me how Fort Dix is, and I'm liking everything I'm hearing. It's like a really laid back place. There's still gangs in there, and there's still danger. I've seen a lot of shit go down in Fort Dix. Um, but there's one thing that saved me in Fort Dix. There's one thing that shot me to one of the biggest known people in that institution. And I'm not fucking lying to you. One thing that shot me straight up, and everybody liked me. Everybody liked me. And that was that when I was a kid, I was a musician. I learned how to play guitar at 7 years old. Like I was natural. I could hear something and play it. And that's what shot me up to the don't Alex. Nobody could touch Alex um, pedestal, so to speak. Um, so that comes into play later. Right now, I'm just in A&O, and I remember like a week goes by, and then they give you like a voucher where you can go get your clothes. You take your sack, and they're going to give you three khaki shirts, two or three white tank tops, the white tank tops. They give you a brand new pair of boots, and they are steel toe. Um, uh, they give you, soap and stuff like that. You can really pretty much live off of what they give you. But obviously, after a while, you're gonna be like, I need more. But so I go. They have a supermarket on the compound. Also, you can go shopping. You go to the window and you you got a commissary list. You give it to them and they go grab everything, and it's fucking awesome. It's crazy. You get an ID card, and with the ID card is how you pay for your shit. And it was great. I was like, man, they really got this down pat, and they did. It was a very different place for me. Um, and it was definitely cool. About 2 weeks that I'm in A&O, you're waiting to get transferred into a unit. Now these units, they used to house soldiers, so they're like I don't know what you call them. They're every unit has 4 floors. So every floor has 2-man cells, 4-man cells, and then you got 12-man cells. So 12, 4, and 2. Yeah, 12, 4, and 2. So you obviously you're gonna go into a 12-man cell first. And before I was just gonna be switched from A&O to a unit 5703. I remember it was. For all you guys that ever been to Fort Dix, I was at 5703. But before that, I'm coming into A&O one day, and I'm coming from the music room because when you first get there, you don't have to work, you don't have to do shit. You're able to do the move. They get you used to moving around. That's the most important thing. So you don't disturb, the count. You don't disturb the shutdown of the compound and stuff like that. You gotta get that's most important to them. So I come back into A&O, and these two, I want to say they were Hispanic. They were Puerto Rican, bro. My own kind. They sit me down. They tell me to sit down on a chair. I hate to be told what to do. So I was like, bro, what the fuck y'all want? Because I'm not the one. I'm not a badass. Like I said, I'm not a badass. I don't start trouble. But if you come trouble to me, it's not going to end well. I'm sorry. That's just the way I am, So I'm like, bro, what the fuck do y'all want? Well, we want to see your indictment. You want to see my indictment? Why? Well, we want to see if you're a snitch or not. I said, listen, man, let me tell y'all something. I go in my locker and I pull my indictment out. Here it is right here. I have no problem with you seeing my indictment. But the loudmouth, I said, but before I give you my indictment so you can see it, I want to see yours. Where's your indictment? And the guy started, and the guy that was with him turned around like, I don't know what they had going on, but said, here's mine. Where's yours? When you give me yours, then you can see mine. They didn't want to show it to me. They fucking got up. One went that way, the other one went that way down the hall. And I also told them, I don't want to join no group. I'm not joining no gang. I don't need y'all's protection. Whatever happens, happens. So y'all do y'all. Do what y'all got to do. And they were like, well, you won't have no protection. So if something happens to you, we can't. I don't need y'all. Like, I don't need you guys. I didn't ask for you guys. I came here by myself, and I'm going to leave here by myself. So y'all go ahead and kick rocks. And sure enough, I'm holding my indictment, and one goes that way, one goes that way. That was the end of that. So my bunkie now tells me, they used to call me Bori, 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 short for Boricua, for Puerto Rican, Bori. He goes, man, I never seen somebody stand up to those guys like that. They did the same thing to me, and I told them I didn't want no protection either. I said, yeah, man, just don't worry about them, man. You in prison, if you carry yourself with respect, most of the time you're gonna be all right. Yeah, there's an idiot, there's a moron, but and you have to fight. Sometimes you just have to. You have to squash things. If not, you become, the ping pong ball or wherever you're at. You don't want that, because then, your stay is going to be that much more worse. So I remember my bunkie at that time. He was, you get a little battery operated radio. I never had one. I didn't have money to buy one. And anytime anybody left, they would leave the shit behind, but being in the hole, I never got a chance to get one. So he had a little beat up radio, and it had fallen off the bunk a couple times. He goes, "Man, look, man, I got you a radio. Here's a radio, man." And he hooked me up with a little radio and two used batteries. The batteries lasted me like a day or so. And I remember listening to a Spanish song and humming it. And my bunkie, he was like, "Oh man, do you play or something? Because I can hear you humming that pretty good." And I told him, "Yeah, man, I'm a musician. Like I play on a pro level. Like I read music. I play with many famous bands. I could play the guitar, bass, trumpet, keyboard. I play all that." And he was like, "Man, you got to go to the music room. You ever go to the music room here?" I said, "No, I didn't even know they had a music room." So he goes, "Hey, bro, tomorrow when we get up, we're going to the music room." So we go to the music room, and I'm blown away. I'm like, "Whoa, this is crazy." Guitars, basses, trumpets, saxophones, keyboards. They had their own studio. And I was like, "Well, who plays in this studio right here? Full blown like a recording studio with the table, the speakers, everything in there was professional. Like they spent money." And he was like, "This is where the bands play every day. Um, after Chow, the bands get together right here and they practice, and they'll play for like 4th of July, they'll play for Christmas, they'll play for any activities that the compound has going on a big scale. That's what they do." I'm like, "What?" And that's music to my ears. So I grab a guitar and I show him a little bit what I can do, and he was like, "Whoa!" So me and him become really good friends. The guy, he was actually a singer for a bachata band. Bachata music is like a form of Dominican, um, Spanish music that is very, 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 very common, if not number one or number two in the Spanish music industry. But the guy was a very good singer. So me and him became real good friends. He gets sent off first. He gets sent out of A&O. And I remember he went to 5707. 5707, I think it was. He got sent. I got sent to 5703 a day or two later. So now my curiosity is getting the best of me. I'm going to the music room every day, and I'm playing, and everybody's like, "Whoa, man, you are fucking sick. You're fucking really good." And I get approached by a band member, and the first band that I got approached by was the rock band, rock and roll band. "Can you play any rock and roll?" And sure enough, I start playing rock, and um, they were like, "Bro, we need a guitarist like you. Can you be here every day after Chow?" "Yeah, man, oh, yeah." So I start playing with them, everybody in the rock, and then there's a little window in the Hispanics. After Chow is open compound, so you could walk around the compound and you see the Hispanics love music, like they're passionate, especially in there. And they were like, "Oh man, there's a Spanish guy playing rock, man. Look at this guy." They're all looking at me. And I'm doing crazy stuff on the guitar. I'm playing Led Zeppelin. I'm playing Hotel California. I'm playing a little bit of everything, soft rock, a little bit of hard rock. And everybody like, "Damn." So now the Spanish people approach me, and so on and so on. I played for I play R&B. I play salsa, merengue, reggae, rock. I was in every band. I played a different role. So now Alex is untouchable because some of these guys that play in the band are big timers. For example, the salsa band, the guy's name was Falcone. Now Falcone is the hawk in English. And after I started playing with Falcone, it was over. Like I was untouchable. Even though I didn't see myself that way, never wanted anyone. I never wanted to be better than anybody because I'm not. I'm not better than anybody. So they respected me for that. But no, I was untouchable. If you had a problem with me, good luck with that. Because if you pissed me off and I told the wrong person you pissed me off, you were going to get taken care of. That's just the way it ended up. I'm not making this shit up. Believe it or not, I don't know what to tell you. But when you get transferred into a unit, now you have to get a job. You're forced to get a job. The first job that they put you in for the first year is in the kitchen. You got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you get off at 12 noon. And I didn't mind it because it gave me something to do. You know, like it. I came in as a vegetable cutter, and you know, you got a knife. It's got a chain. It's welded onto the bench that you're cutting your vegetables, and then you got a sink where you wash them, and you know, you might cut, 600 onions that day. You might cut 400 peppers and stuff like that, and you know, I always followed rules. I always followed the rules to the T. So even the guards liked me because they knew I wasn't going to give them a hard time. I've always been that way, even in my jobs. You know, I just follow rules, man. Just I don't like to argue. I don't really. I don't go against the grain, so to speak. So everybody at that point, this is like my first year now. I'm 4 or 5 months in Fort Dix. I'm already working. I'm protected, even though I didn't want to be protected by everybody. Now that's crazy because being protected by the Hispanics is one thing, but being protected by the blacks, Hispanics, and the white guys, like I could walk in any compound and they were like, bro, don't, that dude right there, bro, that's a motherfucker. Hey, that's Alex, man. That's Gomez. They used to call me Gomez or Bori. That's Bori. And it was awesome, man. It was awesome the first year there. But then again, I had depression problems and they started to creep up. And when you know, my mind, I'm not going to say for everybody, but my mind when I was in there was like one day was good and 2 days were bad, you know, depression wise, because I missed my family. I missed home. You know, my baby mama, she's already gone. I don't, I don't know anything about what's going on with her. I missed my kids, even though my kids might not believe that, but I missed my kids and I missed my life. I had a good life out there, you know, and it still bugs me to this day to talk about those things, but just I kept following rules and never got in trouble. And at this point, I'm working in the kitchen. I like it because it just, even though you wake up at 4 in the morning, there's something to do. Or let me go chop some vegetables, and then from the vegetables, they promoted me to cook, and that was even better. Like you're taking stuff. I mean, I followed rules, but I also did what I had to do to survive because I didn't have nobody was sending me any kind of help. And you know what, guys? For you people that don't know, you civilians, you know, you might have a family member in prison or jail, or you know, $50 a month. $50 a month will make your stay in pretty much any jail. If you can afford $100 a month, you're gonna live like a king. I worked in the kitchen and I was getting paid 12 cents, 12 cents an hour, and which came out a month to like $26. And with that $26, I used to buy my deodorant, my toothpaste, shampoo, and coffee. That's it. Every month it was like that. And obviously that's not going to last me a whole month, but you know, that's how I had to do it. And like I could have sometimes I didn't even have to ask anybody. Like somebody will come visit me from another unit, you know, for music wise, and they'll look at my locker and be like, bro, that's all you got? Hell no, man. So in there, money is two things: stamps or mackerels. Mackerels used to come in these plastic containers, like not containers, but they're plastic You rip them open, and that was $1. A stamp was $1. So if you wanted to have money to buy something, then like when I was a cook, I used to make Chinese rice. I used to fry rice, vegetable, throw an egg in there, and some soy sauce, and it was Chinese rice. I used to sell a cup, and the guards were cool with me because I followed rules. Like I didn't give them a hard time. I did what I had to do, and then they would be like, okay, now take care of you. These guards were cool guards. Fort Dix was a way different animal, way different animal. I never had a problem with the guards at Fort Dix. They were a bunch of good people. And I used to sell those cups for a mackerel, and everybody be like, Gomez, Gomez, what you got? What you got? What you make? And right on the chow line. I got Chinese rice today, or sometimes it'll be like fish, or "Hey, man, I got fish, man. Oh yeah, 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 man, hook it up. One mackerel, and then later on, after the compound open after chow, so no more movement. I will go around and collect my macros or my stamps, and that's how that went. For a long time, that's what I did. For a first year, I worked in the kitchen for a year. Um, then I remember the inmate that was in charge of the music room. I got the idea to be in charge. I want to be in charge of that music room because the Hispanics and the rock band. Okay, the guy that was in charge of the music room, he was a black guy. His name was Lowe, and he would buy, like he would buy bongos and congas. He was into that, like that. He was into R&B for sure, but they had like the rap. They also had a rap group where you rap challenge each other, and he was big time into that. And sometimes for those challenges, you need a pair of bongos, or they use uh, timbales, or they'll use congas um, to make the beat. Definitely the drums, you know. So they had the best drums, the best congas, but we didn't really. The guitars were falling apart. The Spanish band in Spanish music, you have a lead guitar, which is a small, high pitched sounding guitar, and then you got a low pitched guitar, a bigger guitar. You play along low pitch. You have a decent bass. The basses were falling apart. The bridges were bending. Like all the other stuff was looked like shit, but the rap stuff was like new. The microphones were the best, and this, and I was like, I'm going to get in the music room and I want to change that. It took me like 2 years to do that. Applying, applying, applying. So what I did was, I became buddies with Low, and I was starting to do beats on the synthesizers and help the guys make the rap music sound a little bit better, put melody into them, and the rap guys were loving me too. But I came to Low and I said, Low, I want to work here with you, bro. Now, Lowe had maybe another year to go before he was gone. So Lowe was like, bro, look, I'm on my way out. I'm not, you don't tell anybody when you're leaving, also. So, you know, uh, so Lowe was like, okay. And we made a deal where he was going to start to step down and I was going to start to take over. You had to make orders. You had to go through a catalog. You had to circle what you wanted. You had to make budget. They give you a budget every year. What things need to be done? What new things do you want? As far as amps, cords, microphones, speakers, anything that broke, you replace it with that budget that they give you. So I didn't get nothing for rap. They were all set up. I got everything for everybody else: the rock, the reggae, the salsa, the bachata guys. They needed a small, high pitched guitar for the leads. Man, when these guys seen that, man, I was in like Flynn. I was in like Flynn. I was I was very much appreciated in there, to say the least. Um, so I remember I got in trouble before I went to the music room. I was stealing a bunch of fish, and I had them in. I had a bag of fish in here, and I got stopped by by the uh, uh, the CO because you got to go through this gate. And I was a little bit late on a 10-minute move. He stopped me and took me to the office, and I got written up. I went to the hole. So that was a funny part because all the CEOs they knew you steal bell peppers, you steal onions, you sell them back at the unit. It's just what you do. I made sure everybody else was fed though. I didn't do what that shit that they did over there in Atlanta, where they sell your food and you don't get to eat nothing. No, this was all leftover stuff at the end of the day. Every day you get new stuff, so it really wasn't anything nobody was going to be hungry about or whatever. It was just I started to say make a business out of it. I know it's wrong, but everybody does it. So I mean, why not? I go to the hole, I get my first sanction, I lose my good time for that year. So about this time, I'm really not trying to go back to the kitchen, so I get a job on the compound outside, sweeping and cleaning the compound. So whenever the compound is closed, I'm allowed to be outside, and that was awesome. I liked it, but the pay was even worse. It was like 8 cents, 8 cents an hour. So that wasn't working out. But I had my application in for the music room, so I'm hoping at one point before Lowe leaves, I'm able to get into the music room, and I did. Make a long story short, now I'm running the music room. Everybody's super happy. Everybody's got new instruments and things of that nature. And we did graduations. We would bring the band out, all the bands, and they were allowed to play 3 songs per party, if you want to call it a party. And that's how it went for a few years, you know. Then for a little bit, I became a orderly for the visit room. So the visit room, man, that was an ugly part. I didn't like what I used to see. Never said anything about it, but I'm going to say something about it now. For you ladies that have a man that's doing 20 years in the feds, don't you think for 1 second that guy is being loyal to you. I used to see guys sleeping with guys in the units. Like, there's a such thing as marriage. So you claim another guy, if you're doing 20 plus, that's you. But they would marry each other in the unit, have a party and everything. Like this shit happened. And now that's your woman or that's your guy and you're his guy. I never really asked too many questions about that. But in the visit room, I would see the same guy married to another guy in prison, hugging and kissing his wife with 3 kids in the visit room. I don't know, that's kind of weird. It happens. You could believe it. You can believe it or you cannot believe it. But yeah. So few years go by now. 3 years go by, I think, and I'm starting to wind down for release. And I get moved from 5703 to RDAT, the drug building, which was 5704, I think it was. I might be off. You guys might remember if you were at Fort Dix. Correct me. But I got into the RDAT program. The RDAT program is the program that when you're on your last 2 years, up to 2 years, you can apply for this program if you admit it in your indictment, which I never did drugs. I never even smoked a cigarette while I was in the street at any point. but I put down that I was a drug addict and blah blah, just to get into the program, and I did. I was accepted. So now you're in the RDAP program. I'm in the RDAP program, and uh, that takes a year off your sentence. It takes a full year off your sentence if you complete it. It's a residential program, so you got to be in the unit. That unit is especially for RDAP, and you got to do like reports. You got to be able to study. You got to go to certain schools. You got to get certain credits. Um, we talk all about rehabilitation and the. It's a bunch of bullshit in my opinion. Some of the stuff I used, 97.9 of the other stuff I never even put into use. Um, but I did it to try to get a year off. So now in that unit, my bunkie um, was a federal judge, and I cannot say where he was from, but he was a big federal judge, big time federal judge, and he was taking bribes or something, and he got pinched with a 248-month sentence. So that's 20 plus years, and he was on his last 2 years also, just like me. And I don't know where he goes. Alex, have you put an NCIC? I said, what are you talking about? What is an NCIC? He goes, Alex, you come here. So he did this legal work for me, and he told me go to your counselor and have this mailed off or certified. I don't remember how exactly it was, but supposedly an NCIC, or I don't remember exactly if it was an NCIC. I think that's what he had said and what the paper said. But you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's something that makes the government show whatever they have against you, like whatever current investigation they got against you or pending charges, they have to notify you right there and then. They have to tell you, hey, we know your release date is this day, but you need to come to court. You're going to go back into jail because you're being charged for a new indictment. And sure enough, about a month later, I had an indictment out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for a murder charge. And I would have never known nothing until the day I walked out of the feds, and there was the cops to pick me up to take me to Philadelphia to fight a murder charge. So I was very grateful for that. I had to stop the RDAP, and they petitioned them to. Well, the judge petitioned them. They have to do this now. There is no waiting. I don't know how he did that. He did a bunch of papers and stuff like that for me. I got them notarized and sent off. And next thing I know, Gomez, pack up. I'm like, what? Gomez, pack up. I said, God Almighty, where am I going? I never knew I was going to be sent back to the state. And this is the second time I'm in the state institution. So they end up packing me up, and I head to CFCF County Jail in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, pending a ugly murder charge. I'll get into that in my last video, how that came out, and also I'll talk about the release, which was very interesting, a very normal release that I had, because I'll get into why I chose to be released the way I was released and to go to where I chose to go to. On the next one, I hope you guys subscribe, like, and like I said, thank you guys for the comments. I'll try to respond to comments. I read comments all the time. Thank you guys, and I'll leave it here, and we'll pick it back up later on. Thank you guys.